Hey everybody, how's it going? We're back with another episode of Kentum. We're doing our episode 2 of the playthrough. And if you remember last episode, we ended with researching the brain of the base, and we forewent doing the healing pod or whatever it's called. So here, once you hit the research brain all squared away, you're going to see that you're going to have now basically a skill tree, a progression tree that you're going to have to build up. So you have fusion technology, industrialization as the first things you have to go through. And you can see, because I've been collecting items already, it's easy for me to build the first things that's asking me to build, or to unlock the things it's asking me to unlock. Specifically the cognitive fluid machine, and unlocking, the next step of what we need to do. So cognitive fluid A is done by grinding coffee beans and using those coffee beans to make cognitive fluid A, which is why I was stressing so much to go and pick them up and to start that farm. For food, you can see that I have my skewers easy with twig and meat, and I have my storage where I'm trying to keep everything as much as I can within storage and not have it on my person. Those structures you saw me perusing through right now, I personally haven't explored the utilization outside of the wooden platforms. The wooden platforms actually become really important once automation becomes a thing. But I'm not going to touch upon it right now. I think it's good to know that those structures exist and that they're useful. So you can see electrical caps in the beginning of the game are what you're going to use the most, and you're going to use everything else that you find in the overworld. So it's not like you're finding really obscure things or trying to find obscure things that you can't work with, which is one of the things I really liked about Kentum, because the progression is linear. It's linear until it gets to be exponential, and I'll show you what that means later on. Alright, so once again, one of the things that I strongly encourage you all to do is to press tab and pin those recipes to your right hand side so you're able to properly track what it is you're supposed to grab. I also strongly recommend, keep your rations in your storage, as I said the episode before, and just, make your meat and make your stuff into skewers and you're good to go. So now what's next, right? Electrical caps. So one thing about electrical cap mushrooms is that they don't necessarily grow on the surface. Sometimes they grow at the very, very end of the overworld, but most of the time they grow underground, and that's where I'm going right now to go grab a bunch of electrical mushrooms. While I'm doing that, I'm going ahead and making sure that I'm picking up all the stone, all the limestone, all the twigs that I possibly can, until I fill up my inventory with these things. They only stack up to 20. Again, I remind you, so keep that in mind. But picking up as much animal skin as possible right now, as twigs as possible right now, and all the minerals and ores you can muster is extremely important, because a lot of the items that require those kinds of things are in the top of the tree. So once again, I'm following along on how the game wants me to play, which is collecting those. If you're playing sandbox, do whatever you want. The story, like I said, it really does walk you through everything, and it's a good thing to do. See, those mushrooms, that little discharge, that hurts you pretty bad. It takes away, I forget if it's 10 or 15 health, so be careful with that. It also kills everything around its radius, though, so if you manage to trap those little rodents in it, it'll kill them all at once. So you can see, once my pack is full, then my pack is full, and I have a very small pack. So our priority is going to be to make sure that we expand our pack as quickly as possible. You can drop things on the floor and then come back and pick them up later. That's one of the things that I really liked about Kentum, that those items don't just disappear off the ground. But in the beginning of the game, yeah, you're kind of limited. You go underground a little bit like I just did. I don't think we had gone underground before. But we went underground to try to get our mushrooms and to try to start building things up, because we need them in order to be able to craft the next pieces that we need. So we crafted the extractor, but look here, we have enough now for crafting our healing stasis module, and I'm going to go ahead and build that. And the reason I went ahead and built that now is that the underground has more peril than the overworld. Well, okay, that's not necessarily true. There are some birds that can really mess you up once you unlock the left side of the map. But underground in general, there are more enemies and things that can harm you. So it's a good idea to have it unlocked just as you go forward. Now this next piece are the enhancements, and there it is, the equipment. Animal skin. You need 12 of them and you need twigs. That's all you need. And I would recommend that be the #1 thing you focus on immediately to get that stuff rolling. There's your cognitive fluid that I was talking about, so you need your ground coffee beans. So in order to make the ground coffee beans...
Now that we have a machine capable of producing cognitive fluid, we can begin researching new technologies. This is what thinking truly looks like. What separates us from stick-weaving creatures?
You do realize that every now and then I will have to perform maintenance on you. I'm tempted to place a sticker right in the middle of your camera. Anyway, what can we do with this amazing thinking concept of yours?
I'm detecting some blockages. We can remove those if we enhance your staff's strength.
So let's talk a little bit
Check
about
out the staff
those
upgrades
kind of
technology
upgrades.
on the research brain.
It's up to your playstyle, 100%. There's multiple ones to unlock. You can see right off the bat there's 2 of them you can have. So those unlock more upgrades, right? So the research brain is kind of like your hub that unlocks further recipes or unlocks materials you can... Well, I'm sorry, machines you can build and that kind of stuff. So it's important to know what you're going to use the most depending on your playstyle. Personally, I think you need to do the first upgrade, which is the staff smash. So the staff smash is important because it unlocks some of the other regions in the game. So right off the bat, you have to do that. But the rest of them are kind of up to you. And you can see I planted a mushroom seed because I know that based on what I was seeing with all the recipes that we have, we're going to need more of those. So we might as well just have them. So I don't have to be always going into the underground. And most of these things, yeah, it's just 1 or 2 at a time. And it's just little extras that you're picking up when you come back home, right? So meat skewers give you the most health, 24. Bird skewers are after that. And the bird skewers give you... Actually, I'm sorry. Meat gives you just food, no health. Bird skewers give you less... food, but a little bit of health, just a little bit though. So just keep that in mind. I personally carry whatever I have on me, whatever I just cook it and I just run around with it, and I try to keep myself topped off as much as I can. So for this next piece, I know that the infrastructure room requires that ingot, right? And I also know that I want to make sure I upgrade my pack. I think that's my biggest focus at the moment. And so those little creatures right there, the big ones, for whatever reason, don't really give you that many animal skins. They mostly give you meat. So you have to find those small ones. And they're here in the underground in this part, and they're also to the right where we saw those apple things we couldn't really pick because of our lack of weapons. So see, animal skin, those small ones. So that's what we want. That's what we want to find. This snowy pelt, I have no idea what to do with it. I think I should have scanned the creature before I killed it, but I didn't realize it was a different type of creature, so I just smashed it. I'm sure it'll come in handy later, or it'll eventually go bad, and I'll have to figure out something else to do with it. Alright, so let's talk a little bit about the pack upgrades and the staff and the other things. So the first part of the staff is the kinetic smash that I think it's what it's called. I don't know. It's the overhead smash that we're going to pick up right now. That's important. There's another upgrade to the staff, which is hidden a little bit further down, which we're going to get, I think, in the next couple of episodes, and that's the next one I suggest to grab. I think that making your traversing the world faster is more important than trying to upgrade the staff. For example, there's a blocking one where you can make a shield. It's like the game so far anyway, that shield doesn't block electrical attacks, and the beginning of the game, that really is that's the most annoying thing in the game, is the electrical attacks in the beginning. The rest of the attacks are whatever, so you really don't need to upgrade that. that shield. In my opinion, again, you play however you want. I didn't. I thought it was useless, and I just instead focused on mobility because I want to get around the map as quickly as possible. So remember, our goal still with everything that I'm doing is to enhance my pack. I want to make my pack as big as possible, as quickly as possible. And I'm telling you now, you're only going to be able to do it for one level. You're not going to be able to do it the next level because you need stuff that's further along the tree. I played the game already a little bit before I started doing this playthrough series, because I was testing out some of the alpha and beta stuff. And that's kind of how I got my own idea of how to play the game. I did the same thing with our other titles, like Mirthwood. I did the same exact thing. I kind of came up with my own way of playing it based on my game preferences. Terraria is the same thing. I have like 3,000 hours in Terraria. It's the same thing. Games are meant to be played a certain way, but then I think that once you get the hang of it the first time around, it's always fun to restart. Because once you restart, you're able to see the things in a different manner. And there are my extra pockets. You might think, whatever, what's this guy doing, wasting his time? It's like, no, trust me, you need those extra pockets because, as I said in the first episode, you don't want to have to be coming back all the way home. There's no quick travel. There's no, recall potion. You have to walk all the way back home. And the game actually penalizes you pretty heavily if you die. You lose a lot of your stuff. So, the more stuff you have on you, then you come back and you go out. But there's my attack. Electric torch and the guitar. I have not unlocked the guitar yet. I did do my smash. That was my more important one. You can see I just need a little bit of stuff. You don't need a lot of stuff. And the rest of the things are locked until you unlock that first one. One thing about that overhead smash that I do want to say is that it's about 3 light attacks. So it's a heavy attack that's equal to about 3 heavy attacks. So if an item takes 6 attacks, well then it only takes 2 heavy attacks versus 6 light attacks in order to bring down. So that's one of the cool things that I like about it. And so the priority right now is to get all the debris, all the stuff that I can in order to unlock Kinetic Smash and unlock the next part of the game. You don't need to focus on anything else in the beginning. Like for example, go and do the monolith stuff. Like I can't. So what's the point? Scanning flora and fauna, yeah, you can do that, and I start doing that as soon as I get into new areas to try to figure out new recipes and that kind of stuff, and that's important. So see here where I'm just constantly hitting it. With the Kinetic Smash, you don't need to do that. You only Kinetic Smash it twice and it all breaks apart, which is really nice. I guess it's a good time now to talk about the other upgrade that you're going to want to get soon. And the mobility upgrade, like I said, is hidden, and I'll show you where it is after you unlock Kinetic Smash, because that's the only way you can get to it. But the other one is
now we can clear the blockages,
picks up
opening up a significant amount of space to explore. Before venturing out, we can use this time to plant some seeds. While you explore, the seeds will grow autonomously. We'll need to establish a farm plot. It will serve as a controlled environment for cultivating useful plants.
Alright, farming. Woo, just what I dreamed of.
Begin by placing a farm plot. Once constructed, insert a coffee seed. The beans will be processed into cognitive fluid, essential for research activities. The plant will continuously produce beans. However, irrigation must be applied at regular intervals. Lack of water will not kill the plant, but it will suspend output until hydration is restored.
So, if I forget to water it, it just goes on strike. Fine. Farming for brain juice. My life keeps getting better.
So, yeah, I paused there so you guys could listen to the explanation because it's important. We already started farm plots. We already started a seed, and the game recognizes us that we did that, and we already have a 1 out of 3 for coffee. Now, it hasn't told you to do the mushrooms yet. I'm the one that told you that, but, you know, keep that in mind. You also get seeds for saplings, so you could have a source of wood there around. So just, again, keep that in mind. So the sap upgrades there, you see the second level is what I was alluding to. The second level is fine, but look at the cognitive fluid that it takes to make these machines. Be judicious about what you're unlocking. The seed maker is not as necessary in the beginning of the game. Once you're like an hour in, maybe it becomes relevant. This you can upgrade the vacuum, the Rocco, and the hollow shield. The Rocco is like it's like a hoverboard thing that requires compost to work. So if you don't have that unlocked, then what's the point, right? The vacuum's fun. It grabs all the items at once. Is it really necessary right now? No, it's not really necessary right now. So you can make do without it unless you really hate picking up the items, in which case, you know, go ahead and unlock it now. Placement of the machines is interesting. In the beginning, it's just hard to you have to spread out your base. That's what the platforms are for. You can put stuff on top, and you can, you know, put things there that you would normally put on the ground. Up to you. I went ahead and crafted the seed maker. You might be saying, well, didn't you just say that the seed maker isn't really necessary? It's like, I did. But, again, I've already played a little bit of the game before, so I'm able to share at least this kind of tip with you. Making these coffee seeds is important, right? You need 3 cherries. Cherries are abundant. You get them from hitting those small little sticks that have the cherries on them. The seeds have a chance to drop, but I don't want to be waiting for a chance to drop those seeds. I already have one going. Well, that one I have going can make me more seeds, and I can have those 3 farms as quickly as possible. So the next step that so I went ahead and made the seed maker so I could make some coffee seeds. Just, again, you need the cognitive fluid type A. Right now, stuff needs 2, needs 3. Later on, stuff needs 10. And so do the math, right? If you need 10 and you need 2 or 3 of an item to make that item, then you need 2 or 3 to make that item. Well, then it becomes, it becomes a lot that you have to accumulate. And then, so you're better off trying to make that farm as early as possible for the items that you know are going to be difficult to obtain, specifically those coffee seeds, right? The good news is that the coffee plant that you farm yields you 2 every time that you pick it up, not 1. So it's a bit of a shortcut. Whereas if you're hitting sticks or hitting the little plants, then most of the time you... Oop, see, there it is. Now there's no fall damage. Those birds do 10 damage to you, and I wanted to show it off. 10 damage is not a lot, but if you don't know what you're doing, you can get killed pretty quickly, which is why I said in the beginning of the first episode, don't bother them, and you'll be fine. So what's my goal now? My goal now is, I have meat skewers, I have bird skewers, I can make banana skewers, I'm already cooking away my seeds, I'm already making cognitive fluid, so you have to grind the coffee beans. I'm making coffee seeds, so I'll have my 3 coffee seeds. I'm not making sapling seeds because those kind of grow all over the place. And so my next big step is to make that flambéed banana. Why? Because I have the bird and I have the meat, and there's an upgrade that makes your hunger diminish slower. So I think that's worth it. It's one of those upgrades that you get. I think not being hungry as quickly helps out, just so you're not always worrying about food and having to be making food, specifically because, as I said before, twigs are used for everything. They're used for base building, they're used for making charcoal, they're used for making food, they're used for making all sorts of things. So I'd rather not be wasting my time on that. So there's our first use of Kinetic Smash. I forgot about using Kinetic Smash to hit this. You can see how much faster it goes if I just use Kinetic Smash or just trying to hit it one at a time. But now my goal is to pick up as many twigs as possible and plastic and everything that falls down right now. I want to pick it up. I want to grab it. I want to pick it up. Seeds, you should try to pick up as many as you can when you have the space for it. And the reason is that they don't expire. So seeds don't expire at all. So you can see on the left there's an item. And I said, I wonder if it reaches. Guess what? It does. So that item is typically not reachable unless you have mobility unlocked. Those hook points. And the dash, I'm sorry. But for some reason I was able to do it. So Kinetic smashes one-shot the birds, one-shot the vermin in the underground, which is kind of nice. You can see that bird because I didn't attack it, it just flew away. I can keep holding down the smash button and I can move around with it. So think of it like Mega Man, right? That you're able to charge your Buster Shot and you're walking around and then you just release it when you want to use it. Same thing. And I think that it's actually a good thing that you're able to do all sorts of things. Once you unlock mobility, you can use your mobility to dash in or dash out and perform the Kinetic Smash after you finish dashing. So it's actually kind of cool. Alright, so you see the next big thing that I have here. I unlocked that right now when I did my thing. And you can build these things. They're just cosmetic items that look pretty cool. So here I'm deciding what to do next. That makes the most sense, right? I could unlock more staff upgrades, but I don't really think you need them. The clone digestion is what I'm trying to unlock with the meat skewers and everything else. So you need one bird, one meat, one flattened berry banana, which I have now. So I'll go ahead and have that enhancement so that I get hungry in a less amount of time. So I think that's really useful for the early game. That way you're not having to constantly make food and waste twigs on that. Clone health, don't even worry about it. You don't have access to wings yet. You don't have access to making potions yet, so why even worry about it? Right now, like I said, if you want to unlock the vacuum by using the cognitive fluid to unlock that tree, go ahead. The vacuum is useful for picking up multiple items. The other thing the vacuum becomes very useful for is dragging things that are dead. So right now, we haven't experienced it yet, but there's a section that we're going to explore later where the animals can actually hide underneath like an outcrop. And so because they can hide, you can pull them with the vacuum in order to be able to loot them, which is pretty cool. It's what you use it for. So here, I did something really dumb. I pressed shift while I was cooking my food. And I was like, where's my food? I pressed shift while cooking my food. When you press shift while cooking your food, you cook it and you eat it. And the problem was that I didn't want to do that. I wanted to carry it around in my inventory. So I said, excuse me? See, I'm eating it right now. I was beside myself. I was like, okay, I'm going to eat my... Wait a minute. What happened? So yeah, you ate some food first, guy. And then you cook the rest. So I go out to explore with only my meat skewers, and that's it. So you can see I'm just checking out the map of the area. I already unlocked that area by smashing it, and I can see that the caves have barriers to it that I can unlock with my Kinetic Smash, so that's going to be my next goal. I have enough for industrialization for the kiln. The kiln requires, that's where the twigs come into play to make charcoal.
Now that we have some basic machines at our disposal, you should build a kiln. Fulfill your dream of becoming a coal baron.
I've never even once in my life dreamt about becoming a coal baron.
You must have been a very boring child.
Yeah, I guess I must have been a boring child. I don't know. So kiln is next. The kiln is necessary because the charcoal plus the ore that you've been mining gives you the ingots. And if you notice, the ingot is that's necessary in order to go to the monolith and unlock the monolith itself and all the other things you're going to have to do. So once again, I'm just following along the storyline, and I'm trying to get things that are the next piece of the puzzle. So right there, that is what I need to get to make my ingots. And so what do I need? I'm going to need cognitive fluid, which I'm already cooking. I'm going to need cosmic debris, which I'm picking up. I'm going to need stone. I'm going to need limestone. All those things. So right now I decide, okay, well, I need to go get my materials to do the next thing, which is the kiln. You see there, I need stone. I need limestone. I don't have any. So I said, okay, into the depths I go to try to farm everything up. There comes a point where you say, okay, well, I've explored this first level of the underground and I'm not able to get what I want. So what do I do? I was like, well, that's why the game asked you to craft the Kinetic Smash, so you can go to a lower level and explore it. We're not going to explore the lower levels on this episode. We'll do it on the next one. But for now, I want you to know that if you've been following along, you've progressed pretty well through the early game already. You should have already a pack unlocked, and you should have most of your basic crafting things already done, so you can continue to play. So yeah, I'll catch you on the next one. We're going to break into the underground cave and we'll explore it on our next episode. I hope you're having as much fun as I am. Alright? And hope you're enjoying Kentum. Catch you on the next one.